Hello, everyone. Welcome to Tuesday meeting of C4C. Today is the last day of February, February 28th. Yoram's here, Melanie, Daniel's here, Cole's here, Peter's here, Miguel and Boaz are here from sunny Lake Kivu in Africa. We're meeting you here in cyberspace. Maybe you're on YouTube. Hey, why don't you come and join our Telegram? Why don't you come and join some of our meetups? We are a fun and lively, happy bunch. So we're going through an agenda. I can share the agenda document in the chat. And does anyone have any updates?
Sorry, updates to the agenda that we need to add to it.
Sure. Yeah, anything to add?
Is that what you mean by that?
I don't know. It's the first thing in the agenda.
Okay, yeah, so updates in the agenda would be from what's happened before.
Okay.
What
has been happening before? We've been talking about well, last week's agenda was not filled out, so we talked about the same stuff, but we do have a nice agenda items here. I'll kick things off with the community collaboration standards, and I will share a document. Melanie, Nori, and Curtis Myers are actually working on this, which is a Fund 8 proposal to do some great stuff. Are you guys familiar with the community collab standards, like Peter, Boaz, Miguel? I can read to you the problem statement. There are limited standards and tools for Catalyst communities to operate and coordinate. And then the solution is a purpose-driven community to build common standards, processes, and tools to increase synergies across projects. Basically, since C4C has been here, we've been trying out processes and frameworks and tools with the idea to feed that back our learnings from the other to the other communities, sort of learning things. And it's an interesting proposal. I would extend an invitation to you to get involved. And then how to get involved, I guess, is the most pertinent question. Currently, we're wrapping up the proposal, writing the closeout reports, and doing some of the documentation over the course of the proposal. I do have some blockers as I work through it, and one is to how to get sort of community involvement. The other is to the accounting and how much time and energy we can, I can spend, and then as I connect with others in the community, how much time I feel comfortable asking them for. In the past, I've said it's volunteer, but I am not working as a volunteer in the project, and so I don't want to. And there is some allocation for the admin and closeout report writing. So I want to make sure that is clear. That's something that is a blocker for me.
Yeah, I want to add something interesting, actually. So yesterday, I did a close-up report for the challenge setting of new member onboarding with the challenge team. And one thing that we found interesting is that most of the proposals in this challenge, I don't know if it's probably not surprisingly, came from communities. So the role of communities within the ecosystem is really onboarding. Anyway, just mentioned that as something you mentioned, the onboarding part, but yeah.
So the onboarding, that would be a community process. And so like how has how has C4C done onboarding, and then how have the other communities done onboarding? It'll be a really cool, it's a great proposal because it kind of gets at that community-minded DAO, member-based organization. We are establishing new ways of working together with these new tools, Cardano and tokenomics, one part, but then all of the other parts, next to it. Like for instance, we're on Zoom here, we're sharing Google Docs and communicating through Telegram. So those are 3 tools, and the process that we're doing is having a meeting. So that's sort of its own sort of animal. And so that's the nature of this proposal, is we're trying to get our hands around it and document the way that we've done it over the last, since the beginning of C4C.
Yeah, Melanie, please, you have a question.
No, just watching the time. I'm just trying to fill in the time in the agenda. This is something that Nori did before. Very, very helpful in order for us to get everything done. We say we're going to take 10 minutes and we don't have time for it, then we got to I'm just trying to add up the numbers there. Yoram, I'm not sure that you can have 20 minutes in order for us to finish on time, but we can see.
So let's go on.
Well, that's it for this. If you're listening to this recording, come and contact me about how to work on the closeout and finishing of the community Fund 8 community collaboration standards from the C4C. All right, and with that, I think I've wrapped up. Unless there's other questions, I know in the interest of time, we are at about 1:15. The next stuff on the agenda is accounting. Daniel?
Yeah. Perfect. Thank you very much. I'm gonna share my screen. We have been working on doing the budgets for Fund 8. I have a proposal for how to divide the budget for all of Fund 8 proposals, and is using the same logic that we use for Fund 7. So I want to, please. Can you guys hear me?
Sweet. I share
Can you hear me?
Share your screen. Yep.
There.
Oh, you got it.
I'm just having problems with my microphone.
Got you a co-host. I'm gonna make a bunch of people co-hosts. Awesome.
So we created a working document to work on the budgets. This is not on the main document in which we are divvying up and doing all the transactions. This is a separate document, a working document. And if you go here, I'll leave the link in the chat right now, and you can see the collapse standard, the hubs budget, the collapse standards, and the onboarding to events budget. Going by the same logic we used for Fund 7, 30% of the overall budget is going to be divided in three sections. One is admin and other. One is community activities, which we still don't know what we're going to do with that ADA. The idea is to have a pool of ADA from all of the proposals for community activities, and see if we start setting up budgets to reward certain tasks or do projects within C4C that can remunerate our community, and 10% for the treasury. If you go over these, you can see the collaboration standards. Here I took into account Newman because of the huge task that is documenting and doing the closeout reports, a percentage for that specific task. It can be lower or higher. That's for us to decide as a group. And we also have one for the onboarding through events, which is divided in video production, documentation, marketing, and PR. The same 3 budgets that we established for Fund 7. And there's also almost half of the proposals go to the supporting community members pool for admin, facilitating meetings, and all of that. So I don't know how we should manage this. Yeah, go ahead.
Daniel, one question for the. We didn't receive yet the final funding for the onboarding, right? That's the last one to close. For the for the standards, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. All the rest, we received it for the impact onboarding or not yet?
No, not yet.
Okay. So that's the two to receive it. Okay.
So when we move these sheets to the main sheets that we're working on, once we receive the remuneration, all numbers will change on the total here. So I don't know how we wanna do this, Melanie. Maybe put a period for us to receive feedback and play with those numbers. And after we finish that stage, we're gonna do the same as Fund 7, where we do the lists and you can add your name or someone else's name to each one of the categories. And decide if you want to give certain percentage to a specific person or divide that equally between all people in each section.
The big thing on this one is the lack of documentation and the lack of prescribed roles and tasks. I'm going through each one of these proposals. I think if you scroll to the side on one of the first ones you're doing, I'm going through the actual proposal that we put in idea scale and bringing out all the different things that we said we're doing. It's on the side, it's actually to the side of your budget from what I remember. I was working on it last week. So it's what Sustainable Ada brought up last week, or feedback for Fund 7 was they had said, well, it's in the budget, PR and marketing. So they were entitled to a % of that. So I'm trying to go through, it's much more detailed than the actual budget. It's within the proposal itself when we're talking about PR, video productions, our YouTube channel, Discord channel, social media. There's all sorts of other things. The budget is very concise. When I look at the proposal, we see more items where people are connected to it. And that may become another other pool where we just split it evenly or according to how we feel people contributed. And then we've got this going forward. We've got the period between funding from Fund 8 till we get funding again, that we need to figure out how to divvy that up so that people like Newman are paid fairly for this period of time where he's working. Some of it will come out of the proposals because he's doing work specifically for them, but it will never be enough. So there's this gap period, and then going forward into Fund 8 or Fund 10, we actually figure out the fund, the budget, and say that we've worked on this. This is how we feel we can divvy it up properly, and we'll make it easier. Go ahead, Yoram.
No, there's nothing from my end.
Oh, I saw you pointing your finger. Maybe it was just
no.
yes.
I'm just with the no. Just playing.
Okay. So it is a work in. Go ahead, Daniel.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, just to finish, I also added an expenses tab. This is a suggestion. I know, Yoram, you've paid a lot of things like the Zoom and a lot of other things. So we can start putting the expenses here, put who paid that, the amount either in USD or euros, which proposal it was. And finally, we have an amount in ADA, and we have the two exchange rates here. So the idea is to have all of these, and after we finish the whole job of dividing the proposals, we'll move ADA to the C4C treasury, move ADA to a community activities wallet, and we can start paying out those expenses to whoever paid it. So C4C treasury should be the one that takes care of those expenses.
So some of those, Daniel, some of these fixed costs come out specifically out of the proposals. We didn't touch those on Fund 7. There were some fixed costs on those, so they don't have to come out of another treasury. We've set that ADA aside specifically for these. There will be extra that we can put into the treasury after that.
Okay, yeah, that's why I put the proposals here. So we
Perfect.
can understand if it's a fixed cost from a proposal and we make sure we pay from that specific wallet.
Beautiful. Thank you for this. I think we've taken up our time though.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. That sounds good. We're moving right along. Peter, how about you got it? Cool.
I got it. I just have a very simple question. I will be sharing 3 videos today again with the slides. And the question is, who is preparing the presentation, or how is this getting done? I will fill up my slides as usually, but I don't know who's doing the first step, or do we have some process around it?
So Peter, what we've been doing is actually what I've been doing is copying the slide deck from the week before. Everything's set up. We haven't really changed a lot. You're in the Google account now. If you want to just go ahead and do that, play with it. If you have any problem, let me know. Otherwise, within the hour, I'll be copying that deck if you haven't done it. Okay,
so fine. So the process is that it's always you doing it, like the first step?
It's typically me or Newman that jumps in to do that. We do have a template for it, but because we've been keeping it relatively the same, I've just been copying the one before. Once we copy it, then we put it in the working team Telegram chat and say, this is the link, edit your slides. That's the 2 things that have been going on. Newman, you got anything to add to that?
I'm just going to share that folder that those are in so that you can sneak right in there and work with them.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, that's enough for me at this point.
Okay.
And I will update these later. Okay,
perfect. So do you want to copy the slide deck, or do you want me to do that?
I think it's better if you do it, if you don't mind.
Okay, I'll do that right now and we can move on to the next thing.
Perfect. Okay? Thank you.
Okay, and next monthly impact meetup with Yoram.
Yeah, I think we started last week a document, which is quite great. 1 second, let me share the link for the document. So I think the best is really to have a dedicated meeting for that. We decided already a lot of things there. Let me just look for that.
Oh, the document there, I can share that. I've got it up.
Yeah. So let's show this one.
Let's see, it's oh, maybe I don't have it up.
Yeah, let me share it.
Saw it. Where did it go?
1 second. Sorry for that.
Oh, but the idea is to create a monthly meetup of all of the different communities that are around, so that they can share in a standardized format, some way that that it's easy, that we facilitate the sort of cross pollination and people knowing what's up.
Yeah, I have it here for all of you.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean that's en route, and I think Miguel, it will be great. I mean, I think it's great to start speaking with the different communities and aligning them for this time. So I don't know, Boaz from WADA and CNC, and I mean that's kind of something we can start preparing also in different communities. The idea is to have a monthly 1-hour update between the different people and different impact-driven communities in the ecosystem, and each one will give 2 or 3 minutes update, right? To collaborate, to see what's the update, to get to connect and so on. So I think if we can start first of all populating the page with more information, and maybe we have a dedicated meeting for that. Peter mentioned he might be able to make a video around that. That will be great. and yeah, and so I think that will be something that I think will be key and very important for the community. And we have 3 weeks to go, 3.5 weeks to go. Yes, Peter.
Yeah, I suggested in the document that I think it needs a bit more clarity, because if you say that you need 2 to 3 minutes updates, it's very, very little amount of time. So I'm thinking how to, narrow it down, what kind of update.
So yeah, it's a good point. So I think first of all, we need to see who will register for the monthly update, how many people, and I think it's good to have kind of a core people updated in, and then we need to decide if each one is making a 1-slide presentation or a 2-3 minute video. But I mean, I think it's cool to say what we are working on now, like C4C, what's the focus for this month, what we did last month, really the key 2 or 3 top issues. That's really the idea. Not and then if people are more interested in some subject, they can go dive into that and go into the subjects. So I think that's really a key. Yeah. So that's really the idea around that. So
Okay.
CNC definitely. I mean, everyone that have an impact-driven community or key projects, you want to share a quick update. And then I think the idea is how we keep each one potentially to have a slide, so each one can prepare a slide, and in the slide you can have a link for more information if you want, right? And then we'll share it. But imagine how powerful it will be if we will be 20, 30 communities, giving a couple of minutes update each, and yeah. So that will be very, very good.
I dig it.
Sorry?
I dig it. I think that could be a really good initiative, especially with like good document. I love documentation and facilitation that creates a database. So the benefit is that there is a durable something that people can point to, and it's sort of can be shared, and it's an activity that people can be involved in, because the idea, again, with the sort of onboarding as something that most people do, is to like onboard people to new projects and to get traction, which is something that I've learned from the meetings that are going on, is that they've, there's this great project, but no one, it just sort of gets lost in the information wave, and doesn't attract and get like good meaningful participation. So so this could help with that for sure.
Yeah, I think that would be amazing. Yeah, please.
Next agenda item is planned
Wednesday. So for that, on the next thing, I think again Daniel and Peter mentioned they want to be part of that, and if it's still the case, I think let's think between us, anyone that want to join, and kind of I really want to discuss that and make sure we are making something very cool for the community.
Yeah, and they can do that by getting onto that document. Sure.
Sorry, Newman. I did bump the meetup ahead of the database, Yoram. Just because we got to get that done. I have dropped the link into the slide deck now, Peter. I believe we have really quick on this. Lawrence is presenting tomorrow on smart contracts. What else do we want to have in there for C4C updates? We can do something about the budget. That's going to be about 15 to 20 minutes. We've got Peter's slide presentation, which will take about 10 minutes, Peter?
I think 8. This sounds
8 minutes?
A bit shorter. Yeah, 8 minutes.
Okay, so 8 minutes for that. That takes up, we've got 22 minutes to fill up to begin with. What do we want to do? Yoram, do you want to speak about the event coming up and gather interest in that? Also, you could mention the database idea. This is reaching out to our community for people who may want to help, right?
Yeah, database for me, it's another, tomorrow. Yeah, I can mention the database. But we need to have kind of an initial database in place that people can, I mean, we need to start basically creating the database, right, somehow. And then
So the
people
database has been started to a point in Discord. There's a lot of channels, a lot of categories where we've been collecting stuff all along. It could be a beginning place. We have Telegram chats where we have education. We have the GTBBL. We have events. Those are some sort of databases in a sense. If somebody wants to scour them, we've already collected some. Our main Telegram chat has some data in it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of data in a lot of places, right? But and then if we think and see it, we just need time and energy to start doing it. But yeah, I
So
think
maybe
that's
tomorrow mention it, or do you want to have it pre-planned before you mention it?
I think I want to have it pre-planned. Maybe I will mention actually tomorrow the monthly event. I would like to have it pre-planned because we need to have kind of a process for people to come and upload, and how we want them to, you know, how we want, where we want
may
it to
figure
see
that
it.
out yet today. We may figure
Yeah.
out that initial piece today,
Yeah.
right after we figure out the meetup.
Yeah.
So we'll cover, let's hope we have the database started, the events, we cover the budget, we cover the videos, and a little quick check-in. I could stay afterwards. I'm not sure what's going on with Project Catalyst, whether I'm going to attend that or not. I'm not sure that I'll be around for the half hour afterwards to socialize. So quick check-in, 5-10 minutes at the most, 5-minute check-in, and then we jump into the meeting. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else?
If it would be interesting if somebody, you know, the social hour is nice. You know, it could be just to see who's there to sort of lead a social time. Just leave the room open.
Yeah, it doesn't have to always be me. Yeah, perfect. That'd be great. I do like having that time to connect, because then you really do make strong connections. My 5 minutes is up. Unless there's anything else for the agenda, we can move on.
All right. Projects database is next up, and then followed by Miguel with some news that may or may not be recorded for those listening. It's exciting.
Before Yoram jumps in, I just realized I have to update the Zoom with the meetings for the meetups, and there's a admin process. If anybody wants to learn or do it, work with me on that one. I'm going to be doing that today. So that's out there as a task or something. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Basically, you're gonna get the Zoom, the Meetup, and the Google Calendar all in sync. And I guess the Zoom meetings have a set. Like, we ran out of Zoom meetings. It was like, oh, we with our.
So I'll do them for another 6 months. Time I have to update the Meetup. I'll put a little description in the Zoom link. So there is a bit of a process. If anybody's interested in that, I will be doing that today. So you're welcome to join, and maybe we learn from each other.
Yeah, I would, but I can't today, Money. Sorry, but
no, that's fine,
but
Peter. We'll do it next time.
Yeah,
we'll do it next time.
So one request would be just to just before you do it, or when you know the exact time you're going to do it, just put it in the Telegram to say, hey, in 30 minutes and an hour at some UTC, I'm going to do the thing, and then we can schedule around, because I'd love to if I have the time.
Okay, you tell me when you have the time too, and we can do it together.
Sure. Yeah.
Let's do that outside of this. Let's if Yoram's here, he can go onto the database, but you and I can plan that. Perfect.
Sounds good. Yoram, let's talk database.
We want to go into the database a little bit.
Or Cardano
Sorry,
Spot.
again.
Yeah, as long as you leave time for Cardano Spot.
Let's go to Cardano Spot. I would love to,
Yeah, I'm
to
curious.
hear what's their plan. But we need to stop the recording, right?
Here we go.
Check
We'll be
in
right
with
back.
Miguel. We're sick, we start feeling well and we get too busy, and then you have too much to do. So next week we'll talk about the database more specifically related to this. We're not reinventing the wheel. And Yoram, if you just give that little, we're doing the database, Cole's going to tell us more about that next week. Perfect. That's all we need. And then about the event, we can spend more time on that. Little piece on the budget. Miguel's keeping this all secret. Do we want to put
That's
out
right. I've started back the
something?
recording, so it's the secret awesome to be dropped anticipation is building, and that was a great discussion around communication and database, and we got into the planning of the thing. We've got about 6 minutes to the top of the hour. What sort of things do we want to talk about?
Do you want to add anything, Miguel, to tomorrow's meetup as like anything? Or do you want to keep it just separate for now?
Separate, but we can also just mention the Twitter Space idea tomorrow, just to see a rough invite, but not get into detail. Which Cole can break the news also. Just kidding. He's doing the database. I can break the news also.
Yeah, so just two minutes. If you want to put in a slide in the deck, this will be in before the playground session. So Yoram, you've got the event, figuring out something for that. Miguel, a slide if you want it, you can just slip it in there. Cole is gonna just a database, but next week we're gonna have more information about it. And Peter's got the videos, presentation. Daniel, how are you feeling about doing a piece on the budget?
Yeah, I can do that. No problem.
But then we have tomorrow also. The main one is Lawrence, right?
Yeah.
So we need to give him enough time also, because I think it's a very cool
we're done
topic.
by half past the hour, and that's playground. That's Lawrence's, and whether somebody stays afterwards to socialize or not, that's.
By the way, Lawrence is another interview. He's doing smart contract for impact project. It's quite good.
Yeah. Any of the folks that
Sorry.
Yep. There might be something going on. Okay. Yep. I think that feels good to me. How do you feel?
Feels good to me.
All
How's
right.
everybody else feel?
Excellent.
Yep, all good.
I mean, so many exciting stuff. I look, first of all, how many people coming today for this working group, and so great to have all of you here, and so much exciting stuff. So it's great.
So once we leave the meeting, I'm going to be sending Boaz a test ADA, thanks to part of our budget. And Boaz is going to be working on translating the impact onboarding material into French, I believe. So, the process, as slow as it's been, it's going to get going. And looking forward to sending you that test data, Boaz. And then you confirm that you've received it, and I can send you the rest.
Just small remarks from me. I mean, there's not that many expenses. There's only one actually, Daniel, and it's on basically on our Google Drive, the invoice.
Oh, I mean, what about Miro board?
It's
not from my account, I think.
Yeah, it is, because that one got messed up. You paid more than you needed to, and they never replied back to me on that one. So there's Miro board, Google Drive for sure. Simon was paid for our Zoom account, which I'm assuming is going to end up expiring before long. So
where can I find how much I paid for the Miro board?
Oh,
I didn't
maybe
see it.
check
I
in.
don't think I paid for it, huh?
I think you did. Yeah.
You did definitely. I can guarantee that. That's one of my memories.
Okay.
Google Drive, email,
But Google Drive is 20 euros, so that's
No,
that was-
sorry, I'm just saying to find the Miro invoice, I believe you can go into our Google Drive email and search Miro board.
okay.
And you'll find some conversations around that one. Okay,
Yeah.
2 minutes. How we doing?
So checking the emails.
That was a lot of stuff.
Oh, yes.
A lot of stuff. And Newman, thanks for doing the agenda, taking notes, all that cool stuff. All
Nice.
right.
All right.
And then that's the other thing.
Thank you very much.
Newman,
Yeah.
going forward into the next budgets, let's figure out the expectations and putting things down so that we don't have to go backtracking. Let's get these things figured out in advance. And we're going to figure them out for a retrospective payback. And we're going to figure them out for going forward from Fund 10 into the future. Does that make sense?
Sure enough.
Let's get some numbers out there, because it's really hard for one of us to put numbers down and say, what's the feedback? Cole, go ahead.
Just looking at the invoice actually on Miro, I think Yoram paid 158.
Okay.
Euros?
58 USD, I believe. I can take a screenshot of this and send it to you guys.
Okay, thank you.
That's it. So it was paid, you paid too much because the Miro board team thing is kind of
It's bloody
sketchy.
expensive.
And I think we challenged it. We we went around, we did a whole thing on it. It was actually.
They never replied back. No, I challenged it, Newman, and they never replied back. So we have figured a work around that so that we can learn that. And that's one of our processes to share with other community members. So that you're not paying more than you have to for something like that.
Okay.
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you for that.
All right, y'all. We'll say goodbye to the recording. Thank you for attending.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.